Hello, what culture, you scallywags? It's Simon Miller here, and we are fast approaching the Royal Rumble, and that makes my body tingle or rumble. Kill me. Anyway, given that we are coming up to such a massive event that has loads of massive matches, the only thing we should really do is look at said matches and try and predict who's going to win, who's going to lose, who's going to come out on top, and who's just going to be cast aside like a child that doesn't have any parents. And that was way too much. I've taken the line and I've stepped over the line, but let's just keep going forward because that's what powerful people do. I think this may be the first time I've ever done this as well, so I need some kind of catchphrase because of course I do. So don't throw a fit, it's time to predict. I said that out loud. Terrible day. Let's start with the Women's Royal Rumble because I do believe that will open the show simply because it has to. I imagine WWE wants to have one Rumble at the start of the show and one Rumble at the end of the show, and given that the Men's Royal Rumble is kind of considered as the main event just because it's been going so long, I'm not saying that's right or wrong, that's just my gut feeling when it comes to backstage management. I think we'll start with the Women's Royal Rumble and hopefully it is booked very differently to the men's one. However, it is 30 women, it is every 2 minutes or whenever WWE decides to push the buzzer, and they do have to throw each other over the top rope. In terms of surprises, I bet you get somebody like Lita or Trish Stratus, or maybe even Victoria returns, and then there's the outside bets, such as, I don't know, Michelle McCool, maybe even Marie, maybe even Layla. Pretty sure all these people are still on good terms with the company. If that's the case, why not reach out and say, hey, come be on the first ever WWE Women's Royal Rumble? I'd like that. Yeah, we'd all like that. And there'll be plenty of mini stories to focus on throughout. I imagine Nia Jax and Asuka will have a little thing going on, and who knows, maybe even Alexa Bliss puts herself into the Rumble to try and protect her title. Cool little narrative there. As for the winner, well, I got convinced ages ago that it is going to be Ronda Rousey, so I find it silly now not to say that it's going to be Ronda Rousey, and it just ticks so many boxes that I got to go in this direction. For one, the sheer amount of coverage WWE would get from all of this. I mean, not only do you have the first ever Women's Royal Rumble that I've said now 37 times, but it's won by Ronda Rousey. Are you kidding me? That headline basically writes itself, and everybody would talk about it because there'd be so much to talk about. Also, if Rousey is coming in and they don't do this, they're mad. Proper mad. And that's why she's my pick. I mean, it's an audacious pick, but I'm an audacious kind of a guy, and a bodacious one. Cool dude. I like the Usos versus Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable on paper. I think it could be a nice little match, and the 2 out of 3 full stipulation ties very warmly into the feud they've had up to this point. If they're given the time to shine, and that's my real worry. Given how much WWE has to fit on this card, and you've got to imagine that's why the US title final was bumped to SmackDown last week, maybe the Usos, Gable and Benjamin don't get any time at all, they're forced to rush, maybe they even get put on the pre-show, and that's not going to help anything, and it's certainly not going to help the tag team titles. This also does feel like the right time to give Gable and Benjamin the belts, given how dicked over they've been recently, but I'm now going to contradict myself straight away, because I believe the Usos will retain, and here's why. Benjamin and Gable get the early fall, then the Usos have to scrap and scrape to win the second one. Then Gable and Benjamin take over for the majority of the third fall. It looks like they're dominating, so one of the Usos squeaks a pin out of nowhere. It's the most WWE thing ever. Not that that's a problem either. I think the Usos are great and they haven't run out of steam at all as long as they keep going to feud without overdoing any feuds. But yeah, anyway, draw a line under it, Usos retain. I do think there is the potential for the Bar to reclaim their tag team titles against Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan, or at least, again, that's how the story seems to be playing out. You've got to think at some point the goofy Jason Jordan is going to cost Seth Rollins their titles, and because of that, Seth Rollins is going to get mad at him, and they'll probably end up having a match at WrestleMania. I mean, that's what I can see. I can see Jason Jordan versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania because I totally believe there was meant to be Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins there. Jason Jordan is the new Dean Ambrose. However, pulling that trigger at the Royal Rumble means we've got a long time to go before the showcase of the Immortals, and it feels way too early. I mean, who wants to see Jordan and Rollins go at it for almost 3 months? So it's a swerve again, as I'm actually going to say that Rollins and Jordan retain here, and the Bar, unfortunately, don't get their championships back. And the real bad thing about it is, we probably have to see this match again down the line, even though we've seen it ever since we were born. We were born into this world, Sheamus and Cesaro, and some form of Seth Rollins in a tag team were fighting, and here we are all these years later, still fighting. And that brings us to the WWE Championship match. Somehow AJ Styles has to overcome the odds and beat both Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. tell you right now, he will overcome those odds and he will retain. Prediction up your ass. For one, I just don't think WWE is going to make Kevin Owens champion. I don't think they're going to make Sami Zayn champion. And I really don't think, as much as I would love it, they're going to make them co-WWE champion. And the reason is, I just don't think they will. That's all I got. However, my main reason for this is as much as Raw likes to copy SmackDown and SmackDown likes to copy Raw, that, much like Rollins and Jason Jordan, we'll get the same thing here with Owens and Sami Zayn. They'll eventually break up and we'll get them at WrestleMania 34 as well. And that can start here because Owens and Zayn could fall out a little bit because they both want to be WWE champs. They do the classic thing of, he goes to pin AJ Styles, I throw you off, and vice versa. However, then they'll both make up, but they'll eke it out for a while. One of them will turn heel. Fly into New Orleans, ready to go. I don't mind that either, because even though WWE told us yonks ago we were never going to see this match again, Owens and Zayn have such a history in the WWE and on the indie scene that if they get to do it one more go at WrestleMania, the grandest stage, I actually think that's quite a nice little story. I also don't think it's time for Styles to lose his championship, and if he does keep it, he's got a ready-made story at Mania 2, but we're going to get to that in a minute because it ties into the Royal Rumble. So yeah, Styles keeps his belt, somehow Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon get involved in all of this, I don't know how. Maybe Bryan picks one of them and Shane picks the other one, and then when we get to Mania, you've got Bryan in one of their corners and Sami Zayn in the other person's corner. So maybe it would be, I don't know, Kevin Owens and Daniel Bryan, but Daniel Bryan's in the corner versus Shane McMahon and Sami Zayn, but Shane McMahon's in the corner. That's just a prediction I've thrown out there from nowhere, but it's out there now, and if I get it right, I'm gonna look really smart. Which brings us to the easiest call of the night, or at least I think so, and if it means I'm wrong, we can all laugh about it, but Brock Lesnar versus Kane versus Braun Strowman for the WWE Universal title. Gotta give it to Brock Lesnar, right? It's already been set up as well in the sense that Braun Strowman basically killed Brock Lesnar on Raw, so he can now stay strong, even though he won't come out the victor. And Kane is there to be the fall guy, so it all makes sense. Lesnar can pin him, and everybody comes out basically where they need to be. I mean, kind of in the same spot they already were, but that's neither here nor there. Then, of course, we can start rolling towards WrestleMania 34, where it is probably gonna be Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship, unless, of course, Kane wins. I'd be alright with Kane winning, because as we know, I love Kane. However, if we did do that, that would negate all the momentum we built up for Brock in 2017, and that would be ridiculous. We put the time in, we may as well have the payoff. So Lesnar wins, Lesnar retains his belt, and then 24 hours later, we go straight into Brock Roman territory. Hold on to your damn hats. And finally, it is the men's Royal Rumble, and after weeks of not knowing who I thought was gonna win, I've come up with a plan. It's a damn good plan, so the winner is gonna be Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, all this is based on my theory that I am now convinced it is going to be AJ Styles versus Nakamura for the WWE title at WrestleMania, but I also think that Randy Orton is going to be thrown in there because I believe backstage management don't understand why Nakamura versus Styles being one-on-one would be any good, and they want to throw their boy in there, which is fine. Randy Orton can hang in that match, no problem. Randy can't win the Rumble again though, because he won it last year, and that just sucks, and we're not going to give it to Reigns because of all the nonsense that we know. So, therefore, if Shinsuke Nakamura is going to be the number one contender, this is the match you have him win, because then all of a sudden his character's going to feel awesome again. And if he does win the title at WrestleMania after winning the Royal Rumble, you've got a good year that you can use Nakamura as a top star, and I just bet he gets more and more over. And yes, I said star. Sometimes I get so excited, I trip over my words, but he'll be a top star. That was my tongue. It would also be a winner we'd all enjoy for once, and wouldn't that be nice? A good guy can win the big match in January, and we can sit there and feel good about it. What a concept. What a concept. So yeah, Shinsuke Nakamura is my pick for the 2018 Royal Rumble winner, and now when somebody else does it and I didn't see it coming from anywhere, we can all point the finger at me and say, Simon, you're an absolute schmerl, you're a schmuck, you don't know about wrestling, but hey, at least you gave it a damn good go. Also, I'll find a way to justify it. I'll find a way to pretend that I knew this all along and I was just part of the story. Makes no sense. Definitely not. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know your Royal Rumble predictions. Like, share, and subscribe. Head over to WhatCulture.com and read more articles about the Royal Rumble. And follow What Culture on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE for more stuff about the Royal Rumble. My name is Simon Miller, and one last time, I am not a surprise entrant in this year's Royal Rumble. Or am I?
Well done, you made it all the way to the end of the video. Now, I'm not just here to increase our market share with women aged 18 to 35, but to tell you to watch one of these other videos we've made that are probably quite good. So, go on. Off you. That one or that one. They're both good. There you go.